Excuse me. Ah, Mr. Burton. Aggie. Oh, who else? Hazard Outdoors. The Primitive One. The Grim Survivalist. Hello, guys. Just Vin. Good start. Sorry, I was looking at my computer. I've got that at the side here. I wonder whether that would be easier to check the messages, but they're actually not too bad on the screen here. I'm trying something slightly different. I've got the screen, as you can see, in portrait rather than landscape. And this time I'm getting about 6 or 7 messages on the screen at any one time. So hopefully I can keep up with them. What's that, Mike? Time for bed? Yeah, almost. Oh, blimey, they're coming in thick and fast. But yes, good evening to everybody if I haven't give you a shout. And Jim. Oh, evening, Jim Timber. Nice to have you along, my friend. And Angela. Evening, Angela. Let me just mute that. Pops, what's Rob got there? Are you ex-army? No, I'm not. I've always had an interest in the army, but at the moment I'm actually an instructor for the local Marine cadets. So that's the closest you could say that I get to the army. So I'm a civilian instructor. Hope that's answered that question. Let me move that back a little bit. Wobble it about. Recovery Wild Camper. Oh, good evening. Good evening. "29 people on already. Not too bad. Only competition. Did you get rid of the strike?" I don't know. I'm assuming so, mate. Because they've put up the video that they initially pulled. So I guess the strike has gone. Ah, I've just missed that message. Let me just run over here. Hello from Austria. Oh, hello to you too. What's your opinion on camping, Matt Smith? What's your opinion on camping on National Trust land? If you don't make a mess or do anything silly, I don't really see a problem with it myself. I don't see a problem with camping anywhere within reason. Yeah, just be sensible. You should be fine. I just see Jürgen pop up there. Good evening, Jürgen from Germany. And Doug. Evening, Doug. Keith Spence, hope you keep well. Yeah, not too bad, thank you, Keith. Still coughing and spluttering occasionally, but hey, comes with the territory, doesn't it? Now, we've got a few people here, 35. Is there anything, seeing as I haven't made a strict plan, is there anything people would like to discuss? Can I read this without my glasses? No, not really. Blind old bastard. Is there anything people would particularly like to discuss? Or I've got a question for you all to kick things off. So, naked camping, Hazard Outdoors. I have actually been naked camping, but that's another story for another time, a long time ago. I want to discuss vodka. Why, Lee? Just why? Speckled hen, not vodka. I've got a 9-year-old addicted on the Xbox. Oh, it's gone too quick. And he's fancy camping What's the best equipment I could get him to encourage him to participate in your opinion? Oh, that's quite difficult to get a child into it. I think the most important thing is that he's going to be warm, comfortable, and not get bored. So as long as he's got a warmish sleeping bag and a decent sleep mat, I think that's the way forward. And also using a tent rather than anything more extreme than that. First time out, he's not going to fancy the idea of going under a bivvy, I wouldn't have thought. Emma and Helen. Oh, hello, ladies. Here for a short while. Be wood ways. Suddenly have the way tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the scrim nets. No problem. No problem at all. I really like mine, so I thought it was a good shout. God, bloody, the messages are coming up too fast for me. Slow down, people, for Christ's sake. What got you into bushcraft, Keith? What got me into bushcraft? Nothing really. A lot of people assume that I'm a bushcrafter. I'm not. I would classify myself definitely as a wild camper and walker. But previously, going back many years, I used to do a fair bit of shooting, and I also worked in the woodland a fair bit when I was doing some logging. So I do know some bushcraft techniques which I do use, but I certainly wouldn't call myself a bushcrafter. Oh, hold on. How about wife swapping camping? No, we better not go there, had we? Because we're going to end up in trouble. What else we got? Sleeping bags, my favourite subject. Yeah, we could talk about sleeping bags. I'm quite happy with that. The Arctic bag, not for me. No, I just didn't find it suited me. I didn't find the shape was right for me as much as anything. Put aside the fact that it's, pretty heavy and it's not as warm as, stated. Mind you, I mean, they're getting old now. They're going to start losing some temperature ratings. So yeah, I'm not an Arctic bag fan, to be honest. Out of the ones, I've got quite a few. Out of the ones that I've got, my DD Dura 2 sleeping bag is probably my favourite design, but it's severely let down by not being warm enough. It's not as warm as they state. I like using it summer, 2, maybe just 3 season, but any more than that, no, I wouldn't be taking out the Dura 2 as much as I love it. If only they'd made it warmer or down. It would have been brilliant if it was a down bag in that design. My cheap Eurohike sleeping bags are my favourites, quite simply. I've got a down one and a synthetic one. The synthetic one's the warmish one. It's good for -3, which is about as cold as it's ever going to get here. So, yeah, my Eurohike 25 quid type bag is my favourite for cold weather. For the rest of the time, my Eurohike down hybrid bag is brilliant. I really, really like it. Oh, Angela's comment pinged off there. What are your thoughts on overquilts? I've never used a proper one in a hammock. I use my my poncho liner if I need something like that. In the summer, it's great rather than being enclosed in a sleeping bag. If you get too hot, it's easy to throw it off. It's good like that. I would imagine an overquilt is much the same. I'll say I've never used one, so I can't really say about the proper overquilts. I know they're quite sort of like trendy. Quite a lot of people are using quilts rather than sleeping bags, especially the Americans I notice on YouTube. I don't get it myself. I prefer being in a bag, if that makes sense. In the summer, yeah, yeah, great. I can see the advantage, but I certainly wouldn't be using a winter quilt. That doesn't make sense. What's got Lee got here? The waterproof foot box is a terrible idea in a year or two. Yeah, I agree. Well, sort of agree. It's a good idea in theory, but I've never had to use the waterproof foot box in its true sense. So it's just adding weight and taking up space, really, isn't it? The foot box is stupid. Get rid of the foot box on the Dura 2, make it down. It'll be a good bag. Have you used Pontulina as an underquilt? Yes, I have. I've used it on my little lightweight hammock, but it doesn't fit my XL. But it does work. It does work. Legality. Oh, it's disappearing on that one. Hang on. Legalities of bushcraft knives and public land. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because technically you are not allowed in public with a blade that's fixed and over 3 inch, unless you have good reason for having it. Yeah, it's very much a grey area. If you could prove that you were using it for a legitimate purpose, I think you'd be okay. You still might initially get into trouble, but I can't see it going as far as court, let's put it that way. Obviously, if you start waving it about at people, you're done. Simple as that. But if you're using it legitimately, I don't see an issue. It's one of them funny things, isn't it? I have a big issue with the knife laws in this country. I really do. And I understand why they brought them in, but it was very much a knee-jerk reaction. You know, we can only carry a penknife technically, but you can still go into Asda and buy a 12, 14-inch kitchen knife for a couple of quid. Doesn't make sense. And also, if you look at the police statistics, most of these stabbings are carried out by, you know, youngsters, teenagers, whatever, normally gang-related, and they use one of their mum's kitchen knives, not an expensive bushcraft knife. So I think they're, with the law, penalising the wrong people, quite simply. What else we got on here? Most police are confused on the legalities of knife law. Yeah, probably are. Well, it is, when you read through it, the actual act, it's, I suppose they've had to do it. They do with everything, don't they? They have to really nail it down properly. And there's so many grey areas. There really is. I don't understand, for example, how Sikhs can carry their ceremonial daggers openly in the middle of London, should we say, just because it's for religious reasons. It's still a knife. You know, I don't understand it. I really don't. What else we got on here? Think about. I wish they'd stay on the bloody screen longer. That's why I have to keep looking away to have a look at my computer. Angela, her quilt was good value and really warm. Good. That's worth knowing. I'm thinking about making a lamination cautious on putting the trees close to where I'm working. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, mate, to be honest. If you're doing something that you think there's a possibility of people being offended, because let's face it, everyone gets bloody offended, don't they, nowadays? Yeah, if you take precautions like screening yourself off, they can't say you haven't made the effort. You know, if someone makes the effort to walk around what you've screened off, then complain about what you're doing, well, they shouldn't have walked around, should they? It's as simple as that. People are far too busy poking the bloody nose in and getting offended at stuff nowadays. I really sound like a bit of an old fart, but I'm quite dismayed when I see, you know, when I see some of the things that some people complain about. It's like when they watch programs on the television and then complain about the, I don't know, the violence or something like that, where it's like, well, you've got bloody remote control. Change the channel if you don't like it. You know, no, best not get in that subject, so I'm going to get really wound up about it. What else we got here? Knives don't injure, it's the people who wield them. Very, very true. Very, very true. It's definitely a mindset thing. The trouble is, the people that are committing the crime don't have the right mindset, do they? That's the big issue, I think. It's stupid kids that watch too much TV or play too much Xbox and think if they try and kill someone and it all goes wrong, they can still press reset and do it again. And we all know that the real world's not like that. Yeah, definitely a mindset thing. I can say, I mean, I've had knives all my life. I think my father got me my first knife when I would have been, I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that. I've never, ever once in my life thought about using a knife for harm. Let's put it that way. What's the point? You know, if you fall out with someone, punch them in the face. Simple as that. You know, what can they do? They're not going to take your hands off you, are you, as an offensive weapon? Who we got here? Sam the Lone Wolf. Oh, good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I was talking to you on Facebook, wasn't I, the other day? Jim Timber. He'll have a case cider somewhere. No, I haven't. I'm sticking to these. Mainly because I want to stay half, well, as sensible as I ever am, those that know me. Yeah, too much cider and things would go downhill rapidly. So, yeah, lightweight beers today. In fact, excuse me a minute, I'm getting a bit dry already. Right, I've got a question for you all, and it's something that's been puzzling me for years. Okay, and let me pose the question to you. Between us, we must be in God knows how many Facebook groups and subscribe to thousands of YouTube channels. How many times have you seen a non-white person bushcraft or wild camping? And it's a completely serious question. I know there's a couple of guys that I've seen online that were Filipino, I think, which was very interesting. But generally speaking, you don't see, well, I certainly don't see Indian, Chinese. I think I've only ever once seen an African American camping or bushcrafting type thing. Why is that? Why is it predominantly a white thing, do you think? We see what some of the answers come back, and I'll tell you about a little experiment that I did. What we got here? Two rucksack finches. I hope you're well. Yep, thank you. Very well. Yeah, I agree, Lee. Yeah, the odd Thai, Japanese I haven't seen, but they're bound to be out there. But yeah, definitely some of the Thailand guys I've seen. But generally speaking, they're very much in the minority, aren't they? Certainly, it's a rarity to see a black person, African American, shall we say, to be politically correct, you know. And it's always puzzled me, and I don't know why. Jim Timber. It's in Korean, yeah. But it is something that's always puzzled me, and I can't understand why. And you know, not being funny, this is my thinking. Okay, if we went back, should we say 300 years, at that point, an awful lot of the people within Africa, anyway, would have been living a nomadic, hunter-gatherer, bushcrafty type of lifestyle. Now, whenever I see on, YouTube or the TV, African Americans, they're always very, pro their culture and their background and their history and so on. Yet they never talk about that, which I just don't get. I don't get, because in some ways, they should be the experts. Now, what's this? It's more of a white thing, I think. Yeah, maybe. It just, it's just something that's always puzzled me. This thing, just in this country, it's not like we've only got the odd non-white person. There's very large black communities, very large Asian communities, but you very rarely see them doing the outdoorsy type stuff, do you? Not just wild camping, bushcrafting. How often do you see a black guy fishing, maybe, and things like that? They just don't seem to do the outdoors, and I don't know why. I don't know what made me think about it in the first place, but I did first think about this a couple of years ago, and because it was, the more I thought about it, the more it played on my mind, being an inquisitive, nosy bugger. So I actually went on Facebook and did a bit of research. Obviously, it's turning notifications off, dude. Oh, is it binging? I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm not going to touch it now because I'll probably break it. Yeah, I actually did some research, and I found that there is actually some black wild camping groups and black bushcrafting groups in America, of course. And I wanted to ask them, So I actually joined. And as soon as I joined and I posted something asking the question, I was very much upfront with it and said straight away, reason I'm here, I'm curious, this is it. I got very few responses. Most of them, what the hell are you doing here? You're white. And then I got banned. And it wasn't like I asked anything, racist or anything like that. I just honestly said, is it different in America? Or, is it just an English thing? But we very rarely see black people into bushcraft. And yeah, I got banned. They threw me out. They wouldn't even answer the question. But hey, never mind. But it's something that's always puzzled me. Now, what's these messages I'm missing here? Maybe they're so used to city life. Yeah, actually, you might be onto something there, because definitely, the black and Asian populations do tend to be centred around, should we say, London, Birmingham, the bigger cities, aren't they? Certainly down here in Hastings, very much there will be in a minority. There isn't many black people in Hastings. There's a few, but not many. And the same with sort of Asian and Chinese, really. Very few of them. It is probably 98% white. Why, I don't know. But yeah, they tend to group within the big cities, don't they? So yeah, that could be it. Maybe it's because they're not living in a rural area, therefore finding it harder. Oh, what's this? Wildlife? Maybe they don't need to advertise what they do in spare time. Yeah, this is very true. This is very true. They're not all, stupid like me and film camping and, things like that. But that can be said for white people, can't it? I mean, not everybody's going to film and photograph themselves camping or walking. But those that do, the majority are white. So, what's that? Have you? Oh, I missed it. Hang on. Have you ever thought of making your own Facebook group, Alan, Rucksack Adventures? I have, and I have one. If you go onto Facebook and just search Jim Bob Outdoors and Friends, you'll find me. It's only a small group. I think there's only 150 members, something like that. But it was just a place to, chat with people and that sort of thing, because a few people have asked questions and this, that, and the other through my YouTube channel. And it's just easier on Facebook using Messenger. You can attach photos and, do stuff like that. It's just easier to chat with people in that manner. So I started a group just for that, basically. I started it initially to separate my normal profile, family type thing, with my outdoorsy life. It was getting quite complicated. So I started the group so I could be separate for wild camping, so that was the idea. So yes, there is a Facebook group, Jim Bob Outdoors and Friends. Feel free to, come along. I'll approve you, no problem at all. What else we missed here? What have I missed? Too much, probably. Yeah, don't go along American groups, they ban you. Yeah, well, they did me. A couple of them, actually. It wasn't just like, a one weird moderator. It was a couple of groups where I got booted from almost instantly. Accepted me quick enough, but as soon as I posted something and they probably saw my photo or whatever, and yeah, I was gone. You're missing loads of comments, mate. Yeah, I know. They're bombing past so fast. But here's the thing. Do I give one word answers to each comment? That's it. I can just go yes, no, maybe, whatever, and I can answer them all. But that's just not in my nature. I'm too much of a waffler. English Woodsman. Evening, Dan. Someone there popped up. I missed it going. Yank groups seem to be very rude generally. I can't really comment, because apart from that little experiment, that's the only thing I've had to do with American groups. I've got a couple of American friends that are on my Facebook group, and they're nice guys. But I think in any big group, you're going to get hassle, aren't you? That's why I've left most of the large groups on Facebook. I was a member of quite a few of them, and they're just they're full of bloody willy wavers, aren't they? Really, if you don't spend 500 quid on a tent and 300 quid on a sleeping bag, you're doing it wrong. It's just a load of old cobblers, isn't it, really? And if someone says, "Oh, I can't really afford something," you get stupid comments like, "Well, you need to save up then," and all this bollocks. No, I'm not into the big groups at all. There's just too many idiots on them. There really is far too many idiots. I stick to the little ones. It's much easier. What's that, Craig? Must be a nightmare going live, mate. No, not really. It's okay. It's okay, especially now I've moved to another room, so I've got the signal better this time. Hopefully, I hope it's all right your end. No, it's okay. I'm a naturally chatty bastard. So yeah, it doesn't faze me doing something like this, really. As long as there's people. The only nightmare would be if you went live and only had like one person watching or something. You might as well make a video call, wouldn't you? But it's nice. It's 46 people. Brilliant. More than I expected, to be honest. When I had a little test run last month, I think I got 20 something. Although I did advertise it this time. Oh, hang on, messages. Very snobby considering how learning how to be homeless. Yeah, I know. You can. This has always been my thing. You can do it on the cheap in the woods, really, really easily. I mean, we did as kids. We didn't have any decent kit. We couldn't afford any decent poxy kit. So you you know, you just use what you had, and it works. As long as it's not extreme weather, you can get away with a crappy old tarpaulin and a, you know, a 10 quid as the sleeping bag. Of course, it works, you know. Last year, Black Moon's Hiking Group was very keen on. Oh, Mr. Angela, sorry. Was very keen on the power of the outdoor activities for health. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a brilliant thing for, you know, not only mental health, but, you know, general physical health. I think going outdoors a lot and doing an awful lot of walking was one of the reasons I got through my my chemotherapy session, you know, fairly well. Each time I had it, it made me feel rough for a few days, but as soon as I felt okay, I was out there walking. And yeah, I didn't always feel like it, but I always felt better when I come back. You know, it's just a mental thing, I think. When you're out there, you're not thinking so much about your everyday problems, whether it be camping or walking. You know, you've got something else to think about. There's nothing worse than sitting indoors for me. If I sit indoors, I'm climbing the wall in next to no time. I really am. Now, what have I missed? Jim Timber. When I was a kid, we had a bean tin to cook in and a blanket. Yeah, that's about it, Jim. Yeah, that's about it. We used to do all sorts of silly stuff as kids, but I think that's the best way to get into it. To be honest, we've all got bad habits like overpacking. Yeah, 100%. I'm that all the time. I did that at the weekend, to be honest. I went out, and it was the first time I've been out for 3 months camping. And I wanted to really enjoy myself. So I took all my favourite kit with me. Next thing I know, I had my longback Bergen, 120 litres, full. Stuck on the scales, it was just over 20 kilos. Way too heavy, way too big. But I took all the kit I wanted. If I only had a small rucksack, I wouldn't have taken so much. So it's one of the things. What's that, Emma and Hounds? Sorry, I have to go to bed. 3 a.m. start. Oh, bloody bless you. I don't blame you then going to bed if you're getting up in 6 hours. Have a good sleep. I'm sure you need it. Work hard. What else we got here? Nowadays, kids want to just play on an Xbox. Yeah, a lot do. Although some of that, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I think some of that is down to the parents, to be honest, on how much of the interaction the parents have with their kids. I think a lot of people will use something like an Xbox or whatever just to keep the kids happy and not pestering them. Just to view myself. What's Jürgen saying here? Never heard UK bushcrafter report. Are there ticks in the UK? Yes, the bloody is. Yes, I've been very lucky. I've never had one, but yes, ticks are a problem in the UK. You have to be pretty careful. What's Aggie got there? 20 kilos. My first time was 35 kilos. Christ, 35 kilos? Were you literally taking the kitchen sink, one of them old stone ones? Blimey. Normally when I go out in the summer, I'm probably around 14, 15 kilos ish, all in, including water and food and whatever. Normal winter setup, 17, maybe 18 kilos. Middle of summer, if it's really warm and I'm only going out for literally just an overnight, not 48 hours or whatever, I think the lowest I've gone is about 6 kilos. So it can be done, but you have to be really strict on yourself. That's the thing. It's difficult, but you have to be really strict on yourself. What else we got? Some parents stick kids in front of the TV for a quiet life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. I think kids would, or probably, enjoy the outdoors as much as I did, as much as probably most of you did as a kid. I think the kids nowadays would still love that, given the opportunity to do it. That's the thing. Yes, it's a tough one. I know there's restrictions. Obviously, if you're living in the middle of the city, it's not like you can, the kids can't just like wander off like we did as kids. I was in the middle of the countryside. I could go out the back door and I was in the middle of nowhere. Difficult if you're in the city. So if you're in a town or city, obviously there has to be a certain amount of adult input with the kids to transport them, go with them, whatever. It's what's that? Please warn headphone wearers that your dings are loud. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I can turn the notifications off without buggering this. You know me and Tech Lee, Christ. You're lucky I worked out how to make the bloody camera work. What's this? I used to climb trees and make dens and come home when I was hungry. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was the same as a lot of kids. I think it was a case of you didn't necessarily have a watch, but the time to come home was when the streetlights come on. That's, quite a universal thing, I think. And it's a good signal, isn't it, really? Yeah, it's a shame more kids don't get outside. The youngsters that I work with the Marine Training Corps, they're obviously different. They've got a bit more of an outdoorsy sort of mindset. And what we tend to do is we meet up twice a week on a Tuesday, and it's now going to be a Thursday. It always was Tuesday and Friday. And Tuesday was sort of like classroom based, learning stuff. But the Friday was always fieldcraft. And they loved nothing more than getting out, getting muddy, hiding in bushes and all that sort of side of it. So I'm sure given the opportunity, more and more kids would do the outdoor type stuff. I think, a lot of people in our circles, if you've got kids, get their kids involved in it, which is a lovely thing. And it's a shame more people don't really. Even basic sort of, bushcraft or navigational type skills, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing if they was even taught it at school. Because, if a kid got lost in the middle of nowhere, he'd at least have half a chance of finding his way, if not home, to the nearest house to get help, shall we say. But they don't seem to teach that sort of stuff anymore. Yeah, just a personal view. What's that, Gary saying? Agree, and first aid. Yes, I think all kids should be taught first aid. I really do. I think that would be a very good idea. What's this? Jimmy Savile ruined some of that for kids. Yeah, with that sort of thing coming out. Parents obviously get worried about stuff and don't let the kids go out as much, do they? Which is a shame. Thing is, it's perceived threat, isn't it? We all know there's bad people out there. I think there's always been bad people out there from the beginning of time. But because nowadays the slightest thing is straight away on Facebook, it's all over the news and all that sort of thing, more people are aware of it. So I think in some ways the threat is probably larger than what people perceive. I can't believe for a minute that there's that many bad people out there. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I know it happens. There are some nasty bastards out there, but I don't think they're around every corner. Let's put it that way. Hang on a second. Right, got some messages here to catch up on that's just popped in. Do the cadets still use the old SA-80s with the big cocking handles? Ours don't, no. It's a relatively fresh group that's relatively struggling on funding at the moment, and also they are young cadets, the ones that are with me. They're on average sort of like 9 to 13, maybe, that sort of thing. So for doing drill and stuff, we've actually got SA80s, but they're cut out of plywood. SA80 shape, and that's about as close as it is. It would be great if we could get some, I don't know, replica type thing. You know, even toys that are the right size and shape would be good for them. But it's very much a financial thing, I'm afraid. You know, it's not like there's a load of money coming in. So yeah, we just do what we can do, I'm afraid, with the cadets. But as long as they're having fun, that's what I'm there for. I want them to have fun. There's enough crap going on, isn't there? It's crap enough for us adults. I can't imagine how crap it is for kids at the moment. So hopefully, I think it's not long now, is it? When the schools go back, the cadets come back as well. So oh, excuse me. So we'll have to be able to start again with cadets. But I mean, the kids haven't been meeting now for 3 months nearly. And in this sort of situation, it's just the time when they do need to meet up with their friends and blow off a bit of steam and whatever, because they're not going to school. But of course, we've all been locked down together. Right, what messages have I been missing here that's pinging up the screen? Hang on, let me just page back a bit because I've missed one there. What are people's views on the UK rights of way? Are public rights of way recorded and shared correctly? And do restrictions prevent the public from getting out and exploring the countryside? I don't know. I can't speak for everywhere. But round here there is an awful lot of public access. Not only public access woodland, but you know, footpaths, bridle paths, and all this sort of thing. I know occasionally the odd footpath gets moved, but I'm actually not aware of any that have been closed or, you know, restricted in my area. The only thing they have done is close the majority of the byways, which was a bit of a bastard when I had a four-wheel drive and I used to, you know, enjoy going out green laning. And they've been restricted right down now. There's hardly anywhere that you can drive, which is one of the reasons why I gave up my four-wheel drive, which is a bit of a bugger, isn't it? But there we go. What's Craig put there? Glad I grew up in the 70s. Yeah, both of us, mate. Both of us. Yeah. I think it was a good time, wasn't it? Thinking back, I mean, anywhere from sort of after the war, should we say 50s up until the mid 80s, I suppose, was all pretty good, I think, for kids generally, wasn't it? Now for kids, I personally, I think there's too much pressure on kids nowadays. I think with the schools and that sort of thing, there is far too much of the testing and all that sort of thing. And they're all expected to go on to, you know, college and university regardless, which seems ludicrous to me. My biggest concern is at the moment, whenever you speak to someone that's got kids of that sort of age, and you say to them, you know, what they want to do, and so many of them are going to college or uni and doing things like media studies. Well, yeah, all well and good. Yeah, we do need people to do that sort of thing. But I think they all think they're going to be on TV. And also the amount of people that end up doing, I can't think what the technical term for it is, but like a like sports and fitness degree. And it's because really they want to be a footballer or something like that. Those jobs are 1 in a million. So my worry is when my generation retires, if we're ever allowed to, where are all the builders, plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, normal jobs, should we say? Who's going to do that? We don't know. because we just have a load of people qualified in media, won't we? Or basically anything that you can control with a computer. It seems to be the only thing that they want to learn now, which is mad. What's this? Teenagers study their interests. What interests them instead of getting a decent job? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right there. Yeah. Which is probably 50% right, because if you don't enjoy your work, it's never going to be good, is it? You know, if you really don't want to go to work, there's got to be a certain amount of interest there, but you can't treat job like a hobby, can you? You really can't. What's this? All the plumbers and builders will be on YouTube. Hey Jim Bob, have you ever thought about camping in Wales? Yes, I have camped in Wales. I've camped in mid Wales, and I've camped sort of like Snowdonia National Park area. Enjoyed both. I like Wales as long as it's dry, which is a bit of a rarity. I was lucky when I went to Snowdonia. It was good. It was middle of summer and it was nice weather. But when I was in mid Wales, oh bloody hell, it absolutely lashed it down while I was there. It's yeah, Wales is a beautiful place, but someone turned the rain off. Right, what else have I missed here? Page this down. Someone says, I seem to have amazing luck with the Welsh weather. Well, bloody good. I'm glad someone does. It never does when I go there. In fact, I'm meant to be in Wales this week. But of course, because of the restrictions, it all got cancelled. But yeah, I was meant to be up on the North Welsh coast this week for Kate's birthday. She wanted to go there. So, yes. Another holiday down the toilet. What's this, Craig? But worked in construction all my life. Not many young ones in the game now. No. I think it's the same. I mean, my background, you know, previously has always been, you know, haulage and that sort of thing. And you know, the average truck driver that you see now is probably 50, 55. All these people are going to be retiring. So who's going to be transporting all the stuff that these youngsters are buying from Amazon and whatever? There's got to be some training in jobs like truck driving and so on, and the pay's got to be good enough to attract people to do it. That's half the problem. I think a lot of people think truck driving's an easy job, and it's not. And the pay should reflect that. To get trained costs a bloody fortune. Once you've got through your training and so on, it's not that easy to get a job without experience. So to go through all that, to get a youngster to go through all that, the money's got to be right. So, yes, all comes down to money, I'm afraid, doesn't it? Night all, 3 a.m. start. Oh, yeah, another one that's getting up early. Good night. I wish I bloody was. Poxy bloody furlough. What's this? It'll be drone delivery by then. Yeah, I suppose it'll be drone pilots, won't they, delivering the parcels? Christ. What's this? Apart from the fact youngsters don't like getting dirty, there's no glamorous selfie opportunities in a site canteen. Yes. What can we say? Youngsters just have a completely different mindset, I think, to our generation. I don't know what the average age is of people, you know, watching this, but I'm guessing that you're all roughly around my age. And youngsters do have a completely different mindset. And who's to blame for that? Is it the parents? Is it the media? Is it stuff that they, you know, the stuff that they're watching on YouTube or whatever stuff they aspire to. They're certainly different. They're different now. I think they're very much brought up a bit soft, to be honest. Most of them. None of them seem to want to particularly work hard, from my experience. The ones that I've interacted with, let's put it that way, they want it all straight away. Everything's instant gratification, isn't it, nowadays? That's the thing. When I was a kid, if you wanted something, you had to save up for it, or wait till your birthday, or wait till Christmas, or whatever. But now they just seem to get on with it, don't they? Yeah, it's a mad world. What's this? Do you have a drone, Alan? If not, would you ever consider getting one? I don't know, actually. It's. I have thought about it, to be honest. But knowing me in technology, I don't know quite how well that would work. But I mean, there is some nice scenery around here that, you know, a drone would be pretty cool for. It is something I've thought about. I'll have to see if there's an idiot-proof one, one that almost flies itself. I'm all right in a truck, but no, flying a drone might be interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll have a go with someone else's. Maybe that'd be the answer. Have a go with someone else's and try not to crash it. What's that? Someone said we all start to sound like our parents. Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. Oh. What's that? Parents can't keep them from the internet, and honestly, it's difficult to be on belief to install the guidelines that they want to hear. Yeah, yeah. It is. I don't know the answer. All I'm saying is I'm glad that I haven't got young children now, because I'll be tearing my bloody hair out. Because I think there'll be such a conflict with my thinking and what I want and what they're being shown, told, and whatever from external sources, and there would be arguments, wouldn't there? It's as simple as that, and nobody wants to fall out with their kids. Yeah, it would be difficult. I don't know the answer to that. I'm glad I've only got the one daughter, and she is now 26 this year with her own little one. So she's, you know, paddling her own canoe. I haven't got to tell her what to do. But what we got? I'll keep someone getting the show over. What, you mean my notification bell? Oh, I know. I daren't bloody piss about with the phone now, though, because I'll cock it up. It's as simple as that. What's that, Aggies? A lot of indoctrination in schools now. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with it. I think that's where an awful lot of these, I mean, not to get political, but an awful lot of these left-wing type ideas, which I'm not against all of them, you know, but the mindset of an awful lot of people that are, what should we say, 25 and below now, they just don't live in the real world, I don't think. We would all love to live in some sort of utopia, but it ain't out there. It's as simple as that, is it? It's not out there. What's that, Burton? My two children know how. Oh, it's gone. My two children know how to pitch a tent and work hard. Don't give them too much. Keeps them in check. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Me and you are of the same mindset. It's yeah, but I don't like the way things are going now. What's that? Bring back national service. I'm not totally against that idea, to be honest. A lot of other countries are doing it still. You know, it wouldn't have to be a long thing. I mean, even if they had to do compulsory 6 months, they would at least learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. They would learn how an iron works. They'd learn how to wash their clothes. They'd learn how to be punctual, at least. So, yeah, I think national service doesn't, as long as it's not a silly length of time. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Do excuse me. I know you don't normally see that on my videos, do you? Oh, the joys of being a smoker. It's what's that? Didn't someone say that national service produced well-trained criminals? That's a tough, another tough call, though, isn't it? Really. I mean, I think that depends on the person's upbringing before they go in the military, to what they take out of it, isn't it? Really. Yes. I suppose if you are a bit of a nasty bastard, then being trained by the military, you're going to come out a more nasty bastard, aren't you? In that respect. But there again, the same could be said for our prison service. You know, people can go to prison for relatively minor things and get a prison education, shall we say. I think a lot of them come out worse than when they went in with prison, to be honest. It's not that I'm saying that we shouldn't have prisons. I'm very pro of it. If someone needs locking up if they're doing something wrong. But I think the rehabilitation side of it needs to be looked at, especially, well, for youngsters at least, with the career criminals, shall we say, where they're beyond help, aren't they? Really, you're not going to change them. But when you have these youngsters going in, young offenders and that sort of thing, yeah, something needs to change there, because it's not working, in my opinion. Anyway. Kids know their rights nowadays, yeah, they do. And although it's important that we all have rights, obviously, not when they can be used overtly, shall we say. I mean, the fact that they can now be extremely rude to their teachers at school and that sort of thing, and the teacher can't do a bloody thing about it because they know that they're the one that's going to be in trouble if they did. And the kids just take the piss out of the system, I think. I haven't got the answer. I wish I had. I'd be a rich man, wouldn't I, really? What's your favourite campfire firewood, Alan? It depends whether it's just a quick fire, or whether it's something I want to keep going over a really long period of time. I mean, a nice bit of pine or whatever you can get going easy enough, but it burns so bloody fast. Beech, I love beech for a decent long burning fire. But obviously it's got to be really, really dry. And it's a bugger to cut as well, because it's quite hard. Well, someone's put it up here, public flogging. Well, that's a little bit... what's this? I can hear Mrs. JB whistling. Yes, you could. Yes, she just walked past the door here. Public flogging. I think... Oh, what can I say about getting myself into trouble here? Maybe not flogging, but some sort of public humiliation for minor crimes might embarrass people enough to put them off. At the moment, what do they get? A caution for 6 months or whatever, or a pathetic fine. It's laughable. There's no deterrent, is there, really? But to be publicly humiliated, I think it would have more effect, especially with some of these little scroats nowadays that have got an ego the size of the moon. It might deflate that slightly. Also, I missed that. Prepared Norseman. We have national service here, and they market it as a growing experience. Now women also take part, just the same as men. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Personally, I think it's a good thing. I'll definitely sort of vote for it if I had the options to. But let's face it, we have got so bloody soft, haven't we? Soft and bloody useless now. You don't say something for fear of offending someone. You wouldn't dare, voice an opinion that people should go national service. My God, there'd be an uproar, wouldn't there? Absolute uproar. I'm not keeping up with the messages here, am I? You can't even put a name and shame photo in a public place of shoplifters. Well, it's funny you say that. They used to in my local shop up very, very recently, actually. I think they did it recently, as certainly last year. It was stills from their CCTV. So it still happens here. Although there's probably some civil liberties, isn't there, that says that you can't, what should we say, accuse someone of being a criminal without, I don't know, them going to court first or whatever. Yeah, again, tough one. National Forest Conservation Service would be amazing. Yeah, good idea, Angela. Yeah, it wouldn't have to be a national service as in military, would it? To be a compulsory, land management or anything like that, making kids get out and do stuff and learn stuff. There's many areas actually that you could move them into. Do you have any? Oh, go on, hang on. Do you have any plans for any camping event in South Wales? Yeah, actually. I want to at some point do sort of like the Wye Valley area, and also, over the border in that sort of area. Anyway, it's an area that I've sort of passed through. The last time I was that way and I passed through there, where was I going? Oh, it's with my four-wheel drive, and I did one of the famous long off-road routes in the centre of Wales, the name of which totally bloody escapes me at the moment with my head. No, it's gone. I'll probably remember it later. But yeah, I do like Wales. I really do. It's somewhere that I must visit more. And to be honest, it's not like that far from me. I suppose I could do South Wales in 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. What's that Burton Outdoors moaning about my binging? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm so bloody popular and I get messages on my phone. Yes, I should have turned the notifications off. I know. I'll remember that next time. Well, we've been going over an hour here. I don't want to make this too long. Is there anything particular? Oh, excuse me. Anything particular that people want to discuss or ask me before I bugger off? Messages. Strata, Florida. Well done. Aggie Goes Outdoors. Strata, Florida. Yes, that was the one that I drove. And it rained a lot while we were there, and a lot of the river crossings were way higher than they should have been. It was a bit sketchy, to say the least. It was a case of doing all of the river crossings with the windows down in case I had to bail out of it. And it was a big old Mitsubishi Shogun that was lifted up on big tyres and things like that. And it was still more than bonnet headlight deep in a lot of the crossings. It was, yeah. I love my off-roading, but water crossing is scary. Really, It is scary when it's fast moving water. Not my favourite thing, I must admit. Wales is really beautiful. Test out your gear if it's really fit for rain. Yeah, well, actually, I know my gear is fit for rain because when we're quite lucky here in the southeast. We don't get as much as rain as everybody else. We're lucky in that respect. But when it does rain, when it comes in off the sea, it really rains. So yeah, I know my kit's all right for the wet. I just don't like the wet myself, to be honest. Take the fun right out of it. What's that? I did it on a 4-track. Yeah, they were good motors, them 4-tracks. What's that, Angela? Happy St. David's Day at all? Is it St. David's Day today? Oh, if it is, well, yeah, happy St. David's Day. What's that? What can people just love the place? Yeah, it is beautiful, you know, and different because you've got mountains basically, which I don't have around here. I have some big hills, but nothing that you could call a mountain. What's that? Someone put you never run out of water there. No, you wouldn't. That's true. Mind you, I don't run out of water here either. What else we got here? Brecon Beacons and Black Mountains are great. Yeah. I drove all around that area while travelling up through Wales. Very nice. For scenery, I think my favourite so far though has been the Snowdonia National Park. That was really nice. I drove up there with mountain bikes and did a lot of cycling in the area. But yeah, definitely Wales is on the list. Not only is it a place I want to explore more, but the other favourites, you know, like the Peak District, Lake District, that sort of thing. Wales is closer for me. So if I wanted to do what we got, Peak District, you're probably looking at 4.5 hours. Lake District, 5.5 hours at least on a good day. Because I am right down in the southeast corner. I think a lot of people, especially the people from other countries, don't sort of quite understand how far south I am. Although I'm in the southeast, I'm actually closer to France than I am to London. You know, it's that far down. So yeah, long way south. But yeah, Wales is pretty easy access. I could do Wales for a weekend camp quite comfortably. I wouldn't have a problem to scoot over there with the car. No issue at all. Right. I think as long as there's nothing else going on, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. We've still got, what, 32 people there. Thank you very much. Gone much better than I expected. What's this Jim's got here? Looking at Mark channel, Wye Valley. Yeah, I actually want to do the Wye Valley area. And I'd love to meet up with Mark if I get the opportunity. I know roughly where he lives, and you know it'd be really cool to meet up with him at some point. He comes across as a really nice sound guy. He really does. I'd love to meet him. So well, saying that, there's quite a few people. Here's me saying I'm going to finish it, and I'm rambling on at a tangent again. There's quite a few not only channels that I watch, but my subscribers that I chat with and so on, and occasionally I'll see videos that they've done. I would love to catch up with a lot of my subscribers as well. And I think the only way I'm going to ever manage that is to take a week or 10 days or something and have a drive around the country, basically. And stop, you know, one night in each county or something and just keep going. and arrange it. It'd be a logistical nightmare. But yeah, maybe that's something I should plan for the future, maybe. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to wind it up there. Thank you for coming along and having a chat. I caught up with as many messages as possible, but they were coming in too fast at some point. I think it's been a reasonable success. And as long as people are happy with it, I'll go again for the 1st of next month, which will be April, isn't it now? Yeah, 1st of April. What's that just popped up? Why not meet all up in one place, JB? Yeah, if we could arrange it, when all these stupid bloody restrictions are done, it might have to be, to make life easy, it might have to be that we book a campsite, a proper campsite somewhere, sort of middle of the country, and then we can all come in from, you know, different directions for a weekend or something like that. Something worth thinking about. So yeah, good idea. Good idea. Right, I'll say good night to you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. See ya.